Back here on Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio, we are brought to you, the full-time fan, by Modelo. Here exclusively on TuneIn, Big 12 Radio. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league, and Cody Nespor, the digital content producer at Gold and Blue Nation, joins us from Morgantown to recap West Virginia's win on the women's side. They take down TCU in the Big 12 championship game. Hey, Cody, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Just what's the number one overall storyline when it comes to West Virginia? We played some audio from Mark Kellogg, their head coach, earlier. I know this was an incredibly emotional tournament for him and the reasons behind it, with his mother passing back in December and being from the state of Missouri. But in terms of the team and what you saw during this tournament, what was your number one takeaway?
It just feels like this is a team that's kind of reached its potential. In the 3 years under Kellogg, there have been humps that they've been trying to get over. One of them is winning the Big 12. One of them is winning in the tournament. One of them's hosting March Madness games and then making a Sweet 16. This feels like the first kind of hurdle they're getting over in his third year here. And I think that was part of the emotion last night, is they've been so close to so many of those things the last 2 years, but fallen just short, whether it was in Iowa City or in North Carolina last year, or to TCU in the conference tournament last year. It just kind of feels like I said, the first hurdle the program's kind of getting over.
Yeah, and I mean, how historic is this, considering TCU wins the Big 12, and it had been, I think, one seeds were 11-0 in the Big 12 championship.
Right. Yeah, and it's the Mountaineers only had one other one, 2017, when Tiny Martin went nuclear in the tournament. So it's a big deal. I mean, people were out at the Coliseum at 1:30 in the morning to welcome the team back.
Wow.
I think they were out at like 12:45 to welcome at the airport. So it's like, it's a big deal. The fan base is super engaged with this women's team. It really, they have been for these 3 years under Mark, but yeah, last night people were excited.
So what does this mean in terms of West Virginia and their potential seeding in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it's people are now putting them as a 4 seed, which means they would host games. They went into the tournament as a 5. When they made the championship game, I personally thought that should make them a 4. If you're the second best team in the Big 12, I think you would be deserving to host. But with the win, I think it has to make them. You can't have one Big 12 team host and 3 or 4 Big 10 teams like that. That it doesn't work like that. So I think the feeling now is that they will host, and that the Coliseum's going to be rocking here in a couple weekends.
Jordan Harrison with a phenomenal tournament. Is she the best player on the team?
Oh, by far. And if it's not even necessarily a talent thing. I mean, spiritual leader, strategic leader, vocal leader. I mean, just everything you want in a player to lead your basketball team. On top of it, she's a fantastic point guard and obviously the best defender in the Big 12. And if you ask Mark Kellogg, he'd tell you she's the best defender in the country. And she just, this tournament really captured it. She just does every little thing for the Mountaineers, every single game, whether she scores 10 points like in the first round or 21 like in the championship game.
Sydney Shaw has been a really cool story. She's a sharpshooter for West Virginia. Ultimately, the style of play that West Virginia, plays with, that ball pressure, up and down, full 40 minutes. How far can that take them in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think Sydney Shaw is a great example of, like, she came here from Auburn and she was kind of just a spot-up three-point shooter, but then Kellogg molds them into elite defenders. And how far that can take them this year is different. I think the roster is constructed much better this year to where they don't necessarily have to win on their ball pressure. Like, I don't think they won on their ball pressure last night. TC didn't turn it over a lot. They didn't get sped up on offense a lot. But the roster this year is constructed to where they can win a bunch of different ways. They can win inside. They can win shooting threes. They can win they will turn teams over 30 times and just win that way. And I think that's what's different this year compared to the last two, where the last 2 years they had to turn you over. They had to turn you over and score in transition, and the press really had to affect the opponents. But this year, there's just a lot of different ways they can win. So I think it makes it easier matchup-wise to whoever they would get seeded against.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Mark Campbell's made it to a Elite Eight.
Kellogg.
Excuse me, Kellogg. Yeah.
I don't believe he had a real deep run when he was at Stephen F. Austin before this.
Okay, so how far has he made it with West Virginia? For some reason, I was remembering like an Elite Eight game with them, but no.
Yeah, they've made it to the second round each of the last 2 years.
Each of the last 2 years. Okay. So, I mean, how important is it for him to get past that first weekend, or is it not? Do you think what he's done so far is,
No, I mean, that's something about Mark. Like, he's not shy about their goals. So coming into the year, he was like, we want to win the Big 12, we want to host tournament games, and we want to go to a Sweet 16. Right? And it's like, okay, check. And the last one is just Sweet 16. This is a program for as much, success and pretty steady success the Mountaineers have had. They've only made one Sweet 16. It was in 1992.
Wow.
And the tournament was so small back then, they only had to win one game. So, it's a big game, or it's a big deal. Like, and assuming the games are here in Morgantown, winning both of those on your home court to go to the second ever Sweet 16, like, that means a ton. Like, that, if you thought there was emotion last night, like, that would be an emotional day for the team, for Mark, for the fan base, for the community up here. That's a huge deal.
West Virginia went 14-3 this season at home at the Coliseum in Morgantown. 27-6 overall. They went 14-4 in the Big 12 regular season and claimed the Big 12 women's basketball championship. All right, Cody, over on the men's side, the West Virginia men got a nice win on Friday. Looks like they're probably still going to be out of the NCAA tournament, but do you get the sense that this team will play in the postseason? They'll probably have an NIT offer, or maybe that other tournament that's out in Vegas that the name is escaping me right now. Does it seem like they want to extend their season? What's your feeling there?
Yeah, that college basketball crown out in Vegas.
That's it.
I know it's smaller this year. I'm not sure how many Big 12 teams go. I think maybe two. Yeah, I do. It's the rotation is mostly seniors. It's almost all seniors, frankly. I do kind of get the feeling like they don't want to be done in Kansas City. Like, this is a close group. They want to play together. They want to play as many games as they can together. They don't want to just, shut the door on their college careers. And frankly, like, the way they play defense, they believe that they're going to go down to Kansas City and win the tournament and go to the NCAA tournament.
Cody, thank you so much for your time. Cody Nespor, digital content producer at Gold and Blue Nation, joining us here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Congrats to West Virginia, the women's team winning the Big 12 championship, looking to be in a really good spot to host an NCAA tournament site. Cody, thanks again.
Yeah, absolutely, guys.
Cody Nespor, digital content producer at Gold and Blue Nation, joining us here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. West Virginia, like I noted, they went 14-3 at home. If they're hosting the first two rounds, they're going to play a tough opponent in that second game, probably a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, but this team is rolling, especially when you look at what they've done lately. They had a scare from Colorado in the Big 12 tournament, but, I mean, they have wins over Iowa State. They have wins over Baylor, all in the last month since February 1st.
Yeah, well said. This is as impressive of a win as you can have, and between Mark Campbell and Mark Kellogg, it's hard to figure out which is which. No, I'm kidding. But the fact that one seeds have been 11-0 in women's basketball traditionally doesn't have a ton of upsets. I'd say that's fairly significant, and avoiding going 0-3 against TCU in this season. I mean, just many things going in the way of West Virginia. Impressive stuff.
Special thanks to Cody Nespor, our West Virginia digital content producer at Golden Blue Nation. Coming up next, we pivot over to college football. So we're real close to starting our Modelo Spring Road Trip. Another team today. That'll be at the top of the hour, touring Big 12 country. Today we head out to Fort Worth and highlight the TCU Horned Frogs, who have won 9 games back-to-back seasons. Sonny Dykes, the TCU football coach, will join us around 9:20 Central Time here on the show. But coming up next, college football. There was a meeting of the minds over the weekend. A bunch of important people, including Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark. What went down, and our reaction is up next. He's Ari, I'm James. This is Big 12 Radio.